I'm not shocked that Josh Allen won the MVP. I'm not even upset that Josh Allen won the MVP. I know if you go on my Twitter and you see what I was tweeting when it happened, it looked like I was upset. I wasn't. This entire portion of this episode is going to sound like I'm crapping on the season that Josh Allen had, and that's not true. I think Josh Allen had an MVP caliber season. I think Josh Allen had an incredible season. I said this back, during the season that I wouldn't be shocked if Josh Allen won. What he did with the Buffalo Bills, especially seeing how many important pieces they lost, I'm not shocked that Josh Allen was named and considered to be this year's MVP. But with me not being shocked doesn't mean that I believe that that was the right decision. With me being shocked doesn't mean, or me not being shocked doesn't mean that I don't see issues with what's being discussed. The NBA and the NFL find themselves with an issue. The NBA has had this issue for a while now, but you're starting to see these last few years the NFL adopt those issues. And that is consistency. I'm not saying that the criteria has to be correct. 100% correct. I do think there has to be some correctness, but I'm not saying that the criteria has to be 100% correct. But what I'm saying is there has to be a criteria in how we decide these awards. There has to be a criteria in how we decide year after year who wins these awards. Because the word that people are hung up on right now is valuable. I think Josh Allen was one of the most valuable players when we talk about to his team, when we talk about to the NFL. I'm not here saying that Josh Allen was just trash. I'm not here saying that Josh Allen wasn't important. But I'm also saying, okay, if Josh Allen was the most valuable, that means he was the best player in the league this year, right? You see the slippery slope here? Because all metrics, all the stats would say that Lamar Jackson was the best player this year. And even if you watch, because I hear a lot of people say, just watch the film. Even if you watch the film, there is one person that jumps out as being the best player this year, and that was Lamar Jackson. His stats back it up. Historically, that backs it up. Lamar Jackson has proven this year that he was the best player in football. I'm not saying, obviously, people want to throw out Patrick Mahomes, right? And obviously, people want to say, well, Patrick Mahomes is always the best player. I understand that. And I do believe that if we were doing an ultimate draft and you had a number one overall pick and you were trying to build a team, Patrick Mahomes is going 9.5 times, probably going 10 times out of 10. But if we talk about year-to-year basis, I don't think that there should be any question that Lamar Jackson, if you look at the stats, if you look at where his team landed, if you look at the importance of his presence on that team, Lamar Jackson was the best player this year in football. And to be completely honest, it wasn't even close. But let's talk about that valuable word. Because do I think that Josh Allen was the most valuable player to the Bills? Of course. I don't think that I don't think that the Bills would have been the number 2 seed in the AFC. I don't think the Bills would have been nearly as good if it wasn't for Josh Allen. But this is when I say the league, the NFL, the NBA for a while now has a problem. Because everything I'm saying can go or could have been said last year. Because I'm standing on my high horse saying, yo, Lamar Jackson deserved to be the MVP. Look at the stats. But if you look at the stats from last year, when Lamar Jackson won the MVP, you could say Josh Allen, Dak Prescott had better stats. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Well, someone can say, well, look at strength of schedule. Lamar Jackson had a tougher strength of schedule than Josh Allen and Josh Allen and Dak Prescott last year. He also had a tougher strength of schedule this year than Josh Allen. And exceeded. In fact, they went head to head. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens went up against Josh Allen in the week 3 or something in the NFL season and completely embarrassed the Bills. Look, shouts out to Josh Allen, man. Shouts out. Josh Allen had an incredible season. When we hear about moments, right? We talk about Heisman moments. Moments that you can point to a player and said, that's the moment, or these are the moments that won him the Heisman. Last year, or this year, or last year, Travis Hunter won the Heisman. And you can look at several moments that said that won him the Heisman. The MVP has those moments as well. You have to justify why somebody won these awards. Like if you go back, you can justify why Saquon Barkley won the Offensive Player of the Year. He was, I think, the 9th running back to run for over 2,000 yards. That is a moment. He was 100 yards away or something like that from breaking the all-time rushing record that's held by Eric Dickerson. The only reason why he did it is because he sat out the last game. But going up against the Giants, I believe the last game, it's pretty. Obviously, we don't know, but it's kind of implied that it would have happened. Or you can talk about when Saquon Barkley literally hopped over a human being backwards. Or going up against the Rams and he busted out for 2, I think, 60-plus yard runs. Saquon Barkley had moments that you can point to say that is why he earned and won the Offensive Player of the Year. Josh Allen has, in my opinion, a moment that won him this year's 2 moments that won him this year's MVP. Beating Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and the snow game against the 49ers when I think Amari Cooper had it and then he pitched it back. So Josh Allen had a reception touchdown, or receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a passing touchdown all in one play. I don't know how the hell that happened, but it happened. So those are moments. 2 moments. Now, I'm not saying that Josh Allen didn't have a good year, but we're talking about moments. Well, I'm not going to count them all because there was a lot of them, but let's count some of the moments. Let's recall some of the moments that Lamar Jackson had. You can talk about the game against Cincinnati when I think Sam Hubbard thought he had him down, or Trey Hendrickson thought he had a sack when he didn't, and turned into a Lamar Jackson touchdown to Isaiah Likely. You can talk about the shootout that Lamar Jackson had twice against, I think they were down 10 and came back and won against the Cincinnati Bengals. You could talk about the Christmas Day game where Lamar Jackson had an incredible rushing touchdown. Or you can talk about the bomb that he threw. I don't remember exactly who it was or who it was against, but it was to Rashad Bateman. What I'm saying is, what is the criteria? The issue is the criteria continues to change. There's a reason why you see a lot of people on social media calling this a quote-unquote DEI MVP or Joel Embiid MVP. Joel Embiid won the MVP a couple years ago, and he had a phenomenal season. But he didn't have a better season than Nikola Jokic. I also want to address voter fatigue, which is a real thing. Voter fatigue, for sure, is a real thing. Voters get tired of voting for the same person, even if the same person deserves that award. Do you know how many MVPs LeBron James would have had if there wasn't quote-unquote voter fatigue? Do you know how many MVPs Michael Jordan would have had if it wasn't quote for voter fatigue? I understand voter fatigue. I get it. But that should not dictate who wins and who doesn't. It's who's the most deserving. I don't care if you get tired of something. If they deserve it, they should win. Nikola Jokic didn't win that MVP because of voter fatigue, and they didn't want Nikola Jokic to be the second player in NBA history to three-peat. The first one being Larry Bird. But everyone, look, Joel Embiid had an incredible season, but there was a player that was better than him. You can argue the year James Harden won the MVP. You can even argue the year that Russell Westbrook won the MVP. While I think that they were really deserving, you can say maybe LeBron James should have won the one that James Harden won. You can say probably LeBron James could have won the one that Russell Westbrook won. I'm not taking away. I'm just saying voter fatigue shouldn't hinder somebody's season just because you're tired of voting for them. It is almost criminal that Lamar Jackson had the record break. He had a historic season. Historic. I think first player ever to pass for over 4,000 yards and rush for 900 plus yards. I think had the fourth best touchdown to interception ratio of all time. Fourth best ever, I believe. Leading the Ravens to the third overall seed in the AFC. Being just the third player in NFL history to be voted for the first team All-Pro. And those same people that voted for Lamar Jackson being first team All-Pro are the same people that voted Josh Allen MVP. So Lamar Jackson was the third player in NFL history to make the All-Pro first team, but lose the MVP to the All-Pro second team. So the voters said Lamar Jackson had a better year than Josh Allen. But Josh Allen is the MVP. Make it make sense. Again, I'm not shocked, especially when you hear a lot of people that you watched on TV and you heard their breakdown almost all year heap praise on Josh Allen. And rightfully so. Again, Josh Allen had a great season. But what is hard for me to understand, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around is, did you give it to Josh Allen because he had a great season? Or because he didn't have anything and you felt bad for him? Because if you look at Joe Burrow at least has a Super Bowl appearance. If you look at Lamar Jackson, he has 2 MVPs. If you look at Patrick Mahomes, he has Super Bowls. He has MVPs. When we talk about the pantheon of quarterbacks in the league, those are the 4 that we constantly go to. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. Josh Allen's the only one that had nothing. So did you give it to Josh Allen because you felt, oh, well, we can't keep hyping him up as a top 4 quarterback, but he doesn't have anything that the other 3 have. He doesn't have anything. I think that had to be the reason why you give it to Josh Allen, because if you say it's because he had the best season, well, that would be false, because these are the same people that said, well, Lamar Jackson was better than him because they put him in first team All-Pro. And if you look at the numbers, Lamar Jackson, outside of rushing touchdown, was better than Josh Allen in damn near every category. So was it voter fatigue? Or was it a sympathy vote? Because if it was a sympathy vote and voters fatigue, well then how can you say that that the right person got the MVP? I don't know. Josh Allen had a phenomenal season. Josh Allen had an MVP caliber season. Lamar Jackson had the best season of any player this year. Lamar Jackson had an MVP season. Yet, as we sit here today, the NFL awards are over. Lamar Jackson, for his incredible year, historic year, has nothing to show for it. Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.